Well, first of all, there's a huge sort of like, if you look at the total ideological ground in Japan, there's on one hand, there's an ideology toward reconstruction. But on the other hand, there is an ideology or impetus or desire to live. And these two poles, between these two poles, there are different conflicting ideologies and attitudes going on. Of course, the reconstruction is symbolized, it's a symbolic tendency of the government. Reconstruction of the stricken area is most important, more than anything, more than life. That anyway, economic survival of the area, of industries and everything is the most important thing. And meanwhile, the people struggle, its basis is on this side of the survival. And as Yuko said, this is not necessarily a politically led or ideology-oriented struggle, but as long as government is not allowing people to have a healthy life, this is the most important and most radical struggle today in Japan. And more or less, if I explain more further, within this even on the pole of reconstruction or the sort of solidarity, this reconstruction ideology sometimes appears as a solidarity with the area. It's a very complex, but some sector of the new left is towards this direction as well. And it's a total scheme of, it's sort of very complex. But what I want to stress is I agree with Yuko that this is a life struggle toward life is the basis. And as Yuko said, this is like a main leading forces reproductive workers or women. And also something Yuko already implied, but this the radiation monitoring struggle has a very sort of a subtly psychological and imaginative aspect, because this is something the movement to perceive something unperceivable. Because this is the point probably the government and the media could discount this movement, because as this word was quoted, there's no immediate effect. This is not here and now. So this is that people are struggling pretty much something upon their imagination and also calculation, prediction, and a lot of this struggle has a lot to do with information and knowledge. And as this Shiro Yabu that Yuko quoted, in my personal conversation with him, he was now working on this measurement movement most seriously, and he emphasized that this movement need a further sort of technical and technological improvements. It's in a sense how one can read a complex movement of radioactive materials, influenced by for instance, natural wind and rain. Not only wind and rain, but also when it's introduced into human body, and when it came out, where it goes. And also, of course, it comes with circulation of products, and especially now the debris rubble from the stricken area, the government is trying to ship out to demand to keep in different prefectures. All these sort of a complex movement of radioactive materials has to be read in some kind of very sophisticated reading or sophisticated software or sophisticated thinking models. And that's something that they have to develop. And so it's it's a struggle, but it's a very much scientific and informational struggle, and also psychological. And so that's the, the situation that they are facing. And another thing, another important struggle in terms of survival that I have to mention is evacuation or the exodus from the area. This is, sort of like, as Kay analyzed, how the government is trying to entrap people in the region. Of course, it's many reasons for the economic reconstruction and everything, but many people have this impression that it's a suspicion, but it seems to me to be quite sound, which is that if the government allows everybody from Fukushima to evacuate and remove them and live somewhere else, what would be the next? It would be Tokyo. I mean, it would be Tokyo's people that they demand to be allowed to be evacuated or exodus. I think again, like a relationship between Fukushima and Tokyo is one of those, in the traditional Marxist terms, it's like uneven development. In many ways, like Tokyo survival is at stake because of Fukushima in terms of primary industries, fishery and agriculture, and also like a cheap labor power. Precarious labor power have been coming from that area to Tokyo. And also finally the nuclear power. In 3 layers, Tokyo has been relying on Fukushima and that region. And this time again, perhaps this is not the scientific truth or, I can prove this, but many people suspect that government knows that the day will come that the people really have to be removed or evacuated from Fukushima and even from Tokyo. So many people imagine already that the whole eastern part of Japan is in a slow process of desolation. And this is a very scary story, but it's true. Okay. So I have only 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Then I will talk a little bit about demos. The demos in Japan has, to me, like 2 very important tendencies. One is like, increasing amount of people participating, more and more people. And it's happening everywhere, almost every week, from few hundred people to a couple of thousand people to, tens of thousands of people. It's happening everywhere. And constituencies or participants are very varied. And that's very important. But to be honest with you, the demos in Japan are very boring. It's in terms of spectacle, creativity, performativity, and it's rather sort of very, it's well done, but it's not the most exciting thing to me. But the important aspect to me is that people are really, really hungry. So most of the arrests I've observed or read is personal, sort of individual skirmishes with the police. The individual persons are really angry, and they confront with the police in a small way to just touching something and be arrested, or Anyway, I observe people are really, really angry, but somehow because of this, organizing process, very like a sort of heterogeneous participation. It's something like somehow this anger is not coordinated, which I don't judge if it's good or bad. This is the way it is, So, and also like a demo is happening. Right before I left in Tokyo, there was a big demo, and the so-called human chain around the National Gate building. And it was very moving action, if not most spectacular militant action. I liked very much. But a lot of people who are organizing told me in person that they also see the limit of this kind of thing.